Before we get started on today's episode, I want to thank our sponsor, HelloFresh, who you'll hear more about a little bit later. So please help me welcome Miss Nicole Benz.
Thank you. Thank you too for having me. I'm so honored to actually be here on you guys' platform and just sharing my story, my journey of being a widow.
Thank you.
Something just unimaginable, right? But of
Hmm.
course, I'm not the first nor the last.
Right, right.
Yeah, thank you so much. We really are just really appreciative, obviously, kind of in advance of the vulnerability, the transparency, but also the strength it takes to have these conversations. So we're just going to go ahead and get started. We always like to start at, as Kevin would say, the beginning. So tell us about your love story with Andre.
um very very long love story. Me and Andre actually met when we were in the 7th grade in middle school, so we've known each other since we were kids. Playing around, outside. Of course, he went on, he did his thing, he went to college, I went to college. And then we basically hooked back up when he lived out in California. I was living in Miami at the time. That's where we're both originally from. And we just connected and we never let each other go after that. So we moved and migrated to Atlanta, had started a family. Love Atlanta, loved our family being here, purchased a home, did all the family things, all the checklists,
Yeah.
things that you want. We're taking family trips, we're doing the family photos, we got the dog in the photo,
Yeah.
we're doing
Doing
it
all
all.
the things. Wait,
you
wait,
know
wait, Nicole. I need you to go back a little bit because you skipped over this part. You were in Miami. He was in California. How did y'all
yeah,
actually reconnect? Are we talking a Facebook hookup? Are we talking
yeah,
a
we
sliding in the
talking. So
DMs?
okay, so this was the thing. He was always my friend, so I always kept in contact with him. So
Got it.
every year on his birthday, I would always make sure I called his mom's house or his house. Hey, just want to wish you a happy birthday. And then of course I will always call there, of course, his mom house, because mamas, they ain't never changing their
No,
numbers.
numbers stay the same.
Boy,
Numbers
hey, that is
move.
so true.
It's just permanent, right? So I will always call and wish him a happy birthday. So we stayed in contact that way. And then he really was never like a techie person, so you would never really see him on the internet. But then one day he sent me a friend request on Facebook, and I'm like, oh wow, I haven't seen him in ages. Like I said, we knew each other from the 7th grade and we had kept in contact, but to actually see what he was actually doing and see his life, I was like, oh wow, okay. So we connected, became friends. And the crazy part about it, I know he will get me for this. He's gonna come in my dream, y'all. I'll tell y'all about this. But when he came from California, it was for a birthday trip of mine. We went to Key West. That was our first time going to Key West. We loved it. And he was supposed to go back to California. And he never went. It
Shut
was just so
up.
happened. No, we came to Atlanta together. And it's like I say, it's just been everything checked off since then.
So wait, you got him. Y'all went on a trip together. So by this time, you guys must have been dating.
Yeah, we were dating.
Okay,
We were
dating.
dating.
So
We were
you.
dating. So that was September that we started dating a little bit beforehand, but this was like his first visit to come see me because we were dating like long
Distance.
distance. So when he came to visit me, that was in September. We moved to Atlanta in November.
Oh wow.
Moved to Atlanta in November, and like I said, everything was just smooth sailing ever
After
since then.
that. Okay, what
You,
year did you
you
guys?
know, you just know, I guess, right? Like
Yeah.
that's right, yeah, you just know.
Okay, so what year did you guys get married?
We got married in 2016.
Okay. Okay, so how
Yes.
long did you date in between there?
So we dated 2 years before we actually got married.
Okay, so this is like 2014 ish.
Well, okay, I'm gonna say 4 years because we had a child.
Hello,
Let's
Oh,
yes, girl, y'all was
start there
dating.
when
You had a
you went and
child.
got that baby, Nicole. Tell us how you went and got that baby.
Okay, so we got together 2012. We moved here to Atlanta, had a son. 2 years after that. Then 2 years later, we got married.
Okay,
After
got it.
that, so I would say like 4 years from the time we moved here, we
Okay.
did get married. And the only reason why we were engaged, but I didn't want to walk down the aisle being
Being
pregnant.
pregnant.
Oh,
Was
but you was in that bed. You ain't had no problem laying down in that bed, Nicole.
I was in the bed.
You went and laid down in that bed, and now you don't want to walk down that aisle. Now you don't want to walk down that aisle and face the truth.
I was in the bed. But and then let me tell you how funny God is too with that, because when we got married, I was 7 months pregnant with my daughter. So it was like God said, listen, you wanted to play around, or you thought you were in control. You're not. You're not.
You're done. You're done. You're done.
Yes. So we got married in 2016. We actually got married in Vegas. We had about 80 people. We got married in Caesar's Palace.
Oh, nice.
Yes, in the Juno Garden. Like, I wanted that so bad, and he made it happen. And we had a wonderful time. And like I said, we had about 80 of our, closest family and friends fly out. And that was just like the wedding of the wedding. Like, we had a wonderful time. Yes. So it was no eloping. I know when people think of Vegas, they like, oh, they just went to go see Elvis. No, baby. We had a whole ceremony.
I love it. Okay. So that's 2016.
Yeah. So that's 2016. So by this time now we have 2 kids. So we have my son and my daughter. Of course, we're here in Atlanta, thriving. We each have our own businesses, which I'm still an entrepreneur now. So we each had our own businesses, just thriving, taking family trips. Like I say, got the dog. We doing it all. We're just having a grand old time. Then after, I would say, 2018, we purchased our home.
Nice.
And of course, I'm still here. Yeah. So since 2018, we've been here. And that was just something that he always wanted himself, coming from a family of 5 siblings, like he said, they didn't never have their own rooms. So he like, man, this is huge.
Yeah.
This is big for me. So we both, helped each other dreams come true. That's the goal. When you get married, you find your person, you help your person to accomplish their dreams and their goals. Like, I would say this past, not this past December, because he passed in November, but December of 2021, we went to see snow. I've seen snow before, but he had never seen it. And on one of the videos that I captured of him, he said, oh my gosh, I've been wanting to do this since I was a kid.
Wow.
He got out of the snow and made a snow angel. It was just like, you the things that you take for granted, like the little things that you feel like, oh, well, people just do that all the time. No one has experienced that, ever before. So I'm so happy that he got to experience things that he never even thought of. And I think that's what helps me a lot too, to know that our marriage was great. And I know some like, oh yeah, y'all lying. No, like, I don't know what y'all do all day. Like, y'all be arguing, because we don't do that.
Y'all be arguing.
We making jokes. You just keep on rolling. Life will get you, and you may have a disagreement, but that doesn't mean you're gonna fall out.
Right.
So I'm thankful for that. Very thankful.
Okay, so 2016, you guys, 2020, 2020, you got to experience snow. Is this pre-COVID, post-COVID?
Now, this was in the middle of COVID.
Oh, in the middle of COVID. Okay, all right.
This was putting masks on. This was everything. Okay, so of course, by now, y'all, we have 4 kids. Okay. So I
was wondering that. I was thinking you just had the 2. So you have 4 kids.
No, we have 4. So we had a child during COVID. We had both of our last babies during COVID. So we had one in 2019.
She was laying up in that bed, kid.
Still in the bed.
Get up, Nicole. Get them clothes out the dryer. You in that bed.
In the bed. It was no Netflix and chilling.
It was just chilling. The TV is off. Y'all didn't even turn the movie on to fake like you was gonna watch it.
No, the TV's off. Like, who's watching the TV? But no. So, and our last 2 sons, they have the same birthday, which is just wild to me.
That is wild.
One a year apart, so they are very close. With each other, and I love it. At first I was just like, why? Because my husband wanted that so bad, and I'm like, why do you want that? But there's a purpose for everything. So now they are the 2 little best friends with each other. So that, like I say, that was 2019, 2020, 2021 is when we went and saw the snow.
Okay.
Nice.
And then of course 2022 came, and still having an amazing year, taking our trips, family trips, doing everything. And one day he went to work and never came back through the door.
Oh my
Ooh,
gosh.
Yeah.
Lord.
So
Just it was just when people say the blink of an eye, it's definitely the blink of an eye.
So
Yeah.
take us back a little bit. Take us through. I know you mentioned a little bit of like he had been complaining. So take us through like the time frame in which he was complaining, what he was complaining about, those type of things.
Yes, so I have a shapewear and wellness company, and I have like detox teas and sweat creams and stuff. So he was like, you know what? I'm gonna be the spokesmodel for it. Like, we're
Yeah.
gonna do it. And I'm like, yeah, let's do it. Because he's like, I think my side is hurting, and I think it's just because I'm fat. You know, I'm getting fat, his belly just getting too big. And I'm like, okay, babe, let's do it, you know. So he is my model for my cream. I mean, he is every day advocating for it. He's sweating, he's losing the weight, but the pain is still there. You know, so it's like, well, babe, I don't really think it's the weight anymore. He's like, you know what? It could be when I have a little drinky drink. So I'm gonna stop that, you know, because he's trying to piece all these things together, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, well, do you want to go to the doctor? You know, and of course, men, no, I'm good, you know. So he would act like he was Reverend Run, make a bubble bath, be texting on the phone, you know, because he's like, well, the water made me feel better. And I'm like, okay, babe, you know, I still think it's something within. But he's like, no, I'm feeling better. So I would just, you know, let it go. You know, I didn't press the issue because we all know men, we set in y'all ways. It's just, okay, I'm gonna let you be right now.
Yeah.
You know, all right, what you want for dinner? You know, like, let's change that. Let's go to something else. And he kept complaining about his side hurting. About 2 to 3 days, I would say probably the 3 days before he passed, he was complaining about chest pain really bad, and he was starting to get like anxiety really, really bad on certain situations. Like, it would be something so minute, like say if he was sleeping and the kids came in, and you know, kids, they gonna make rowdy noise, they gonna wake you up. If they startled him and woke him up, it was almost like he was like gasping for air. And it was like, what's going on? Like, are you okay? And he's like, yeah, man, these kids, doggone kids, just wake me up, you know, because you just they coming in, they bothering you about, daddy, can you fix a toy? You know. And so he would say, oh my God, I don't know what's going on. And so I was like, you know what? Let's just start our workout routine again, because that seems to be when you were letting the pressure off. You know, maybe you wasn't so stressed about, you know, work, and let's start back doing that. So we started back getting into our workout routine, but not sticking with it like we were, because he was complaining about the pain on his side.
I see.
So it was like, well, we can do it, but we can't do it. And every time I kept saying, well, let's just go. Nah, babe, I'm just gonna take a bath. I'm just gonna relax. You know, maybe I'll just need to relax. And I'm just like, okay, yes, you need to relax. And like I said, that day he went out, you know, went to work and never made it home. Of course, you know, we get a knock at the door, and it's like, hey, can I speak with Mrs. Benz? And I'm like, you know, it's like, yes. They're like, yeah, well, your husband passed. It's like, who did that? Not mine, because I was just calling him, actually. And that was the weird part about it. I had been calling his phone, but I just assumed, first I was like, it's dead. You know, I was like, well, maybe it's just ringing because it's dead. Didn't think nothing of it. Then after the hours went by, I'm like,
Let's take a break from this episode and hear from our sponsor, Hello Fresh. Okay, this is the deal. I am traveling quite a bit. Okay, that's just the reality of my life, because I'm very busy and we're doing a lot of things. When I'm home for the little bit of time that I am home, the last thing that I want to do is think about cooking a meal. Okay, it's just not what I want to do with the time that I have when I'm at home. I want to sit at home and relax and do nothing. And so HelloFresh says, don't worry about it, girl. I got you. We will do the thinking for you. We will send you a pre-portioned, pre-packaged, easy to assemble, put together, make. Most of the meals are less than 30 minutes meal. Send it to you so you can have dinner together ready in a flash. They have products featuring quality proteins, fresh produce, and plans for many lifestyles. No wonder HelloFresh is America's #1 meal kit. Make your home the hangout place for the summer with crowd-pleasing eats, from a backyard bratwurst bar to tangy key lime pie. Let me tell you what my family just had just yesterday. We had the Alfredo style spaghetti with herbed salmon. Is it herbed or herbed? I think it's herbed, but that's okay. I said both because I'm fancy. Okay, we love sauce in the Fredericks family. If we don't know, listen, if the Fredericks don't love nothing else, we love pasta. Give us carb us up and a good sauce. Oh, and I can't do red sauce a lot these days because I have heartburn. So, it's just part of my life. So Alfredo sauce is like, that's my jam. Okay. It comes with the salmon. They have the zucchini. They have the noodles. You squeeze a little lime up on there. You can't tell me that I'm not doing the things. Okay. Period. Don't tell me that I'm not doing the things, because clearly I am. And the best part about me doing the things is I don't have to do all the things because HelloFresh does the things for me. Okay. So right now you can go to HelloFresh.com/MBH50 and use code MBH50 for 50% off plus free shipping. One more time, go to HelloFresh.com/MBH50 and use code MBH50 for 50% off plus free shipping. Allow HelloFresh to do the thinking and the hard work for you when it comes to making a dinner. Let them send you the ingredients and give you the recipes. They'll deliver it right to your doorstep. All you have to do is assemble, cook it, usually about less than 30 minutes, put it back in the bag, wrap that up, throw it in the garbage. You've had dinner and cleanup. Easy, done in a flash. You can thank me later. Now back to the episode.
Well, that's kind of strange. So now I'm like, well, let me FaceTime you, because maybe all the chimes on your phone need to go off. So I'm saying, because I'm like, well, maybe you don't hear, because it was just not like him. We talked on the phone all the time as if he was still in the house. Like, hey, babe, what you doing? Da, da, da. He would say, I'm on my way home. Do you need anything? Before I stop at home, because of course he knew I had the kids at home. It's kind of hard for me to step out with all of them versus him bringing something home or whatever. So I didn't get that call, and I'm still, death was just not even. No, it wasn't even on my radar. Yeah. Okay, so now at this point, I'm like, man.
So walk us through, is this at the end of the day? Like, he went to work and you're expecting him home, but like a few hours have lapsed since that time. So you're like, where are you? What's going on?
Yes. So, okay. So my two oldest kids, we homeschool them. The other two, they don't go to daycare. So they're here with me all day as well.
Okay.
Right. And this kind of started with COVID. So, we never got back into the swing of things of sending the kids to school.
Yeah.
So I'm here running my business as well as watching the kids. So that morning he left home maybe about 8:30. We prayed just like we did every morning before he left the house. I always prayed over him. But this morning in particular, my daughter had remembered because she asked him for some candy. He always will bring them candy home when he came in the door. Yeah. So all the kids always expected candy. So this particular morning, she said, well, Daddy, can you bring me some candy? And I stopped him and I said, no, because she's not paying attention in class right now. Mama got to be the bad guy right now. Yeah. So I'm like, no, she's not paying attention in class. You can't bring her that. So he didn't even utter a word to her. And he would usually override me and say, oh, babe, you playing. All right. No, this time he just walked out the door. It was just like, he said nothing. And my daughter brought that to our attention. So, of course, I don't know if you guys have cameras over your house, but I do. So I went back and looked at the recordings and I was like, yeah, he didn't say anything. He just walked out the door that day. So I knew he had a big contract with the city. He did lawn service. So he had a big contract with the city. So I knew that we probably wouldn't even talk as much that day. He would probably tell me later on how it went with the contract and stuff, so I didn't expect to call him, you know, as much or speak to him. So it wasn't around till I talked to him at 11 and I asked him for something and he said okay. And then I was like, man, okay, well, he hasn't called me back, but I still chucked it up. I was making some promotion videos for my business because it was about to be Black Friday. I'm still in my whole routine.
Right.
By the time it was now from 11, it turned out it was 3:15, and I'm like, okay, now that's weird, because I would have heard from him by now, you know, by 3:15. So I'm like, well, maybe he's on the way home. His phone could have died.
Yeah.
Charlie could have broke. I don't know, because usually that's what would happen. If his phone died, I know it. He's not that far from being home. Anytime his phone died, I can expect him within at least 30 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Me calling that he's coming through the door. It was just like clockwork. And he was not here. So I'm like, okay, let me just go ahead and fix dinner. At this point, the kids are like, Mom, where Daddy? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm trying to reach him, but I'm still trying to keep a calm face. Because I'm like, now what are you?
Where are you? Right.
Why aren't you picking up this phone?
Yeah.
Why aren't you calling me back? Like, hello, I'm texting you now.
Yeah.
And so about 3 turns into 4 turns into 5. At this point, I call his mom.
Like, worry is coming up.
Worry is coming up, but I'm still trying to be settled for the children.
For the kids, right.
I'm still trying to have my poker face on.
Right.
And they sense something is wrong because they're asking me questions and I'm getting irritated just by the simplest thing. Like, Mama, can I have some more to eat? I'm like, sit down.
Yeah.
You know, just eat. You just had a plate. You know, like, the kid's hungry, girl. Like,
yes.
You know what I'm saying? You know how that, like, you just, your mind, I couldn't focus. Okay.
Right.
So now at this point, worry starts to set in, and I'm like, okay, well, let me call his mom. So I called her, and she's like, no, I haven't, heard from him today. Mind you, she lives in Miami still, so of course it's not like she could get in a car and come around.
Right.
I'm like, that's kind of strange. So I called one of his friends, and I was like, hey, did you see him around there today? He was supposed to have a contract, and he was like, you know what? I saw him earlier, but that was it. And I'm like, okay. Now I'm like, okay. Let me read accident reports. I don't know what triggered me to do that. I'm like, let me see if I could see any accident reports.
Oh, wow.
At this, now it's 6:30. I don't see anything that would, dawn on me. So I'm like, well, I don't know. I'm just gonna still sit here and wait. So at this point, I call my parents, and they're like, yeah, something just doesn't seem right. My dad was just immediately like, that's just not his character. It just doesn't seem right. So they immediately came over. And at that point, when they came over here, the kids are, they're happy still. They have no clue what is going on. Neither do I still at this point. I still don't have any clue. I called his mom. She's like, call the hospitals. I called the hospitals. They said he isn't there. Nothing. Still the phone at this point, it's just ringing. It's just ringing. It's not
going to voicemail.
No voicemail. It's just ringing. And I'm like, okay. Now I'm getting worried. Yeah. Because this is hours now. Now we're going into the night.
Right.
And this just doesn't happen, So I started calling police stations, because now I'm like, well, because my mom was like, well, just call them just to see if anything, because maybe they can do a search of, where he was at, because of course, you can't do a missing persons case until 24 hours when they're grown.
Right.
But she's like, well, maybe they can look somewhere, So I ended up calling, and they gave me the number to the morgue.
Oh, wow. Did you know that at the time?
No. I'm thinking
they're giving you numbers and I'm just calling.
They're giving me numbers to call. They're just giving me numbers to call. And at that time, the police was at the door. Oh. And they're like, we want to speak with you. Because they hadn't already had all of my information. The thing was, he was where he passed away was in another county. So, the counties got to transfer to the other counties to get to me.
Got it.
So time had elapsed, so at this time I'm just like, okay, yes, you need to speak with me. And they're like, yeah, your husband, I'm sorry to say, but he passed away. And I'm like, who? Who passed away? I'm like, it's no way. Like, we just saw him and I just talked to him. What happened? Well, we don't know truly what happened. We're still investigating it. What? I'm like, where is he? And how they do it here in Georgia, I didn't know this, but I tried to go see his body the next day and they were just like, no, you can't. And I'm like, who? Why? Like, yeah, we have him because it was a single car crash. It was the investigation. And now, we were going to contact you. We were going to contact you about doing an autopsy. I'm like, yes, do one, because I don't even know what happened.
Right.
I don't know what happened. All you guys are telling me is a single car crash. And I'm just like, how?
Yeah.
How do you just a single car? I can understand if it was another car, somebody else involved. Like, how does this happen? And it wasn't until months later when I got the autopsy and I was in Walmart with the kids and I'm in the aisle reading the whole documentary and, the whole document. And I'm just like scanning through and I'm like, and the kids are like, Mama, what happened? I'm just like, oh, nothing. Now I'm shivering because I shouldn't have opened while I was in the Walmart. Yeah. Like, why? Okay, now y'all gonna really think I'm crazy. People in Walmart, not in Target, but they be crazy.
Yes.
Now I'm looking like I'm in Walmart.
Yeah.
So, it was just mind-boggling to me, to find out that he had the aorta aneurysm. And that's when I started doing my research on it. And I'm just like, man, he really had no time to react.
Wow.
It's not man, let me pull over. It's not that. It's a instant. And at that point, because I was trying to figure out, like, how did he veer off the road? When we went to the accident scene, there were no screech marks. There were no tire marks or anything. It's because he was already gone. He didn't have a chance to stop the car. Right. It wasn't a stop the car type of thing. It was and the car was just going. So I do thank God that he didn't, that didn't cause somebody else to be injured.
Right.
Because you just never know. Thank God he wasn't on the highway. He was almost to the highway. So it was on a side road. Wow. So he was almost to the highway. So I can't even imagine, if he was actually on the highway. Yeah, on the highway. Because, the car was just going. A ditch actually stopped the car.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
A ditch stopped the car.
Were you able to actually say your final goodbyes to him?
Yes, I was, but not until the funeral services, and I had to get there maybe 2 hours before everybody else did. Georgia does this thing so different. Wow. It's not like I'm used to, like in Miami, if somebody passes, the family gets time to spend with the person before they even, clothe them. No, I got none of that. My final time to see him was when everyone else came that day.
Oh my gosh. So that was like your first and final time.
Yes. That was my first and final time. My first and final time. But he came to me in a dream before that and told me that it was just a shell. He's here, but it's just a shell. And that day, I cried, but I didn't really, you would think that you would be falling all over the casket and I'm going crazy. I didn't even have that type of emotion in me. It was just, I was just sitting there so numb.
Wow.
Like, this is really what we're doing. My kids are looking and they're like, especially the younger ones, they're at the time they were 2 and 3. Wow. They're 3 and 4 now. But, at that time, they're like, well, is daddy asleep? We're supposed to be quiet for daddy because they hadn't got used to him getting startled, so they're like, is daddy asleep? Can we wake daddy up? It's like, yeah, daddy's not getting up. Daddy's not getting up. So my oldest, I let him choose. He wanted his dad cremated to have him here with us, in which it was so crazy because me and my husband had just talked about that a week prior to him passing. And we never had this conversation. We were watching a movie. It was one of these Netflix movies that have you crying. Okay. See, Kevin, we watching
I
movies.
was just about to say that the
Yo,
first time y'all ever turned on the
y'all was
program.
watching movies.
But I do not remember the name. But it was this movie that was out and everybody was crying over. This lady had cancer. She passed away. Anyway, we were watching the movie and I had asked him, like, so if this happens, I said, listen, if something happens to me ever, I want to be cremated and I want you to put my ashes in a necklace for each of the kids, if that was to happen. And he said, yeah, me too. I said, no, listen, let's really talk about this because we never really talked about it.
Right.
And he's like, yeah, no, I'm serious. He was like, don't waste no money on that. He was like, he's like, don't do it. And I said, okay. And I let it go. And a week later, I actually had to stand on that word.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Actually had to stand on it.
Wow.
Actually had to stand. It's a blink of an eye.
Yeah.
It's a blink of an eye.
Yeah, it's so interesting hearing this because I'm 40. Melissa, bless God, is still 39 as the time we film this, and
Yes.
we were talking the other week about like we are literally growing older together, right? And that means you might not have had any health issues. We started dating, we were 16, we got married at 20 and 21. You might not have health issues through your 20s, maybe even your 30s, but the chance of something happening in your 40s and 50s and 60s is more likely, and that's part of getting older. Like Melissa has something wrong with her hand. She refuses to go to the doctor. Undiagnosed arthritis, whatever it is getting worse because she won't go up there. And even if she gets a hook on her hand, I'm just going to love that little hook or nub or whatever she has to happen. But, Melissa and I had never talked about cremation until my brother passed, and we realized how difficult body and burial plots and all that stuff. And we was like, not only do we need to talk about that, you have to like inform the people around you.
Absolutely.
And create wills. Like we had talked about getting our wills and stuff, and we had life insurance, but nothing was really comprehensive. And a lot of times, just like she talked about the doctor, I'm scared of the doctor. Your husband was what a lot of people are, right? We're scared of the truth of whatever it is. Same thing with bills and credit. Like we often feel like if we just don't look at it, it ain't real.
It's gonna go away.
It's just gonna go away. But we had to really have some conversations about what's to happen, about life support and who takes care of our children. Like, of course, you don't want to have that conversation, but what you don't want even more than that is to not have had that conversation, and now nobody knows what to do with your kids. Families end up fighting. When we were talking with the people who handle my brother's arrangements, they were talking to us, and they were like, we are sorry, you have to bring his wife in because too often somebody from the family is doing the negotiations or whatever, and the wife has a different idea. People end up fussing and fighting in the funeral place during the funeral, and a lot of that can be avoided if you have had those conversations and that information is on a will somewhere or in case of emergency, and people in your family know that information.
Okay, this was like right after his services, and I was just washing my hair one day and it was just starting to come out in the shower, and I'm just like, wait a minute, what's happening? But I had been starting to fully get on my more of a spiritual journey that I said, you know what? All dead things gotta go.
Wow.
I just started cutting it. So that's why I have my rock. I'm rocking this. But I just basically said I have to let it go because if I don't, I'm going to stress over my hair. I got plenty of things that I need to be worrying about, like my mental health, my kids' mental health. Like at this point, everything else did not matter. Right. So my motto now is that I strengthen what remains.
Ooh.
I saw that. You posted that.
That's good, Nicole.
I what remains. My kids remain, my mental health, I remain, the love of my family that I have, my village, they remain. I'm strengthening that. Because without them, without me, without the strength, I wouldn't be able to keep pressing on.
Wow.
Honestly. I can't. So I strengthen everything that remains. And I mean everything. It's nothing that, and I mean, we didn't live our lives like, oh, well, and thank God for this, that, well, I have to take a vacation on that day. No, when we wanted to take a vacation, we took a vacation.
Yeah.
And that's the honesty of being entrepreneurs. Like, it's
Right.
great, you know. Yes, we put in a lot of hard work. I don't want nobody to get it twisted.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work, but when we want to break, we break, you know, and we did that for many, many years. So I can't say that we didn't do that type of stuff, but you still stressed, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
You still, like you said, it's always in your mental, it's always on your mind. Like, I was always thinking, okay, what's a better way I can do this? I got to market this, I have to do that. It's just a lot that comes with it. But when he passed, I shut everything completely down. I said, for what?
Right.
For what? I'm going so hard. People are going to buy the product, or they're not going to buy the product.
Come on.
Like,
Listen.
I'm just like, what am I doing here? I'm not even enjoying the fruits of my labor.
You better talk to somebody, Nicole.
No.
You better
Was
talk
not
to somebody.
of my labor, because I'm too busy saying, oh, I got to post. For what? It took, and I said this to God, to him. I said, you know what? I'm so mad at myself that it took his death to make me stop and sit down.
Yes.
Yeah.
It made me stop and sit, and I'm thankful for it.
Right.
But I'm strengthening everything that remains. You know what I strengthened? The love that we have.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna say had, because I still feel the love.
That's good, Nicole.
It's I can't even explain it. You guys have been together for so long as well.
Yeah.
You feel when each other's energy is off.
Mm-hmm.
You feel that. That's what we felt. Like, the love is there. Like, so I'm strengthening our love. I put our pictures up everywhere in the house. Like, it's nothing that's removed. I haven't even got rid of his clothes. And I know people be like, oh, well, doesn't that bother you? No.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't bother me at all. Actually, it helps me. It helps our kids to know that he once was in this home. He was once here.
Yeah.
I don't want to ever forget their dad.
Yeah.
Ever. And I know people say, when you have pure love like that, it's nothing else but to keep strengthening that love.
That makes so much
sense. And I have the love with my kids. You know, I see him and them. I still have chats with him. I look at our old pictures from vacations. Like, I don't know what he has done to my phone, but ever since then, every memory that we have had, it just comes up on my iPhone. I wake up in the morning, it's like memory. And I'm like, really?
You went in there and swiped it while you were asleep.
Listen, I'm like, really, this memory? So I'm learning to strengthen everything that remains. And it's like, people always say, how do you get through it? You strengthen it. Strengthen yourself. Like, now I'm back on my routines. I'm up in the morning, I'm working out, before the kids get up. Like, I'm going all around everything that matters.
Yeah.
And
edifying it.
Yeah, and edifying it. It's no more me staying up late. Oh, I have to send these emails out. Listen, they're gonna buy it or they're not.
Listen, you know what, Nicole, is so interesting. We for different reasons, we have the same experiences. Melissa and I have been pitching shows, and like, we be having deals that be like this close. And during this time, I'm just like, if I do this, like, and make it happen. And after all that stuff, I said, and me and Melissa were talking. She was like, because we have a pretty extensive life insurance policy now, right? Okay. And she was like, I don't care about that. I would rather have you alive. Right? Yes. Like, no matter how much money, no money's going to replace your spirit. And I was telling her, because, I'm very ambitious. I'm trying to get it. And after that happened, my brother passing and then this, it'd be like, also, who cares? Who cares? I have my health.
It just puts in perspective the priorities of life.
It really does. Like, okay, if I'm stressing myself out trying to achieve this thing and then I don't have the health to maintain it, like, we're entrepreneurs. I was talking to Melissa. I was like, what gave me a peace? I said, I think I've reached the 9-to-5-ness of this life, right? Yes. To where, like, I don't always have to make more and more money and more shows. Like, I want to just, this week, Nicole, I didn't do nothing. I came home and got my drawers. Melissa came in the room. You said, you still in the bed? I sure live. I watched me movie. I was watching a movie, took me a nap, got up, ate some fruit. Turn the movie back on, turn it back off. You know what I mean?
Like, a nap. You take a nap. You might have took
two. But I think we have to, and this is regardless of entrepreneurs or, people, we have to, I think, honestly, low-key, I believe it's capitalism in us, in Americans. We always feel like we got to do more and more. Nothing's ever enough, right? And that if that's in you, it won't matter how much money you make, right?
No.
Nothing will ever be enough. And I think prioritizing your health and your family, like me and Melissa, we was taking our boys to HBCU tour, and the Miami Heat happened to be in the finals at the time we're going to be in Miami. So our son was like, we should go to the game. We were like, we should. Let's look it up. Let's see if it's crazy. Now, courtside, unavailable to us. I said, not for a family of 4. We ain't got to be there. They got TVs in the middle.
It's in the building.
We could be in there. I ain't got that. I was like, I just wanted to see Nicole. I said, oh, that's for Rick Ross. That was for Rick Ross and the players. That ain't for families
That ain't
of 4.
for regular folk like us.
But we appreciate those moments, big and small. And it's not always that. We go to the movies often. We enjoy all those things. And I think when you are lost, and this is when I lost my brother, and I know I'm talking a lot because this kind of hits me different. The one thing that I appreciate more than anything is how we lived our life. We have so many great memories to choose from. The summer before he passed, Melissa planned like basically almost our entire family, especially all the kids under 18. She planned a whole trip for us to Disneyland.
Oh.
All the kids came here. They all stayed in our house. I hated it. We couldn't get a great hotel in Disneyland because Disneyland be tripping. And we stayed at like a Best Western or something.
Basically,
the doors was on the outside. Kids had the time of their life, and when you lose somebody and you have a lot of memories to remember, it is very comforting, right?
Yes.
And that's why we do those things, because you will lose somebody or you will be the person lost, and I would hope that there's a lot of great memories. So my brother's birthday comes up. Or videos, my sister-in-law, his wife sends me videos, and they'd be like, boy, we had a time. We had a time.
We had a time. And I think that's what I love. And I know that people may say, oh, you miss him. I do. I miss the physical part of him. I really do. But I know that he's here without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah.
Like, he's always around without a shadow of a doubt. He shows me signs all the time.
Yeah.
And but I do look back on memories, like you all said, you just upped and went to Disneyland. We did the same thing in 2021. We came out to LA to visit, and the day before we were leaving, we was like, should we go? He was like, yeah, let's just go. So we just went. It's like, and we created that memory, and this is something that the kids and I will have forever.
Yes. Forever.
So I do, like I said, I thank God that we were able to live our lives that way. Because, a lot of things that I've come to realization as well, are man-made. The pressures of life, the time, if you really think about it, things should come easily to you.
Yes.
And if it's not easy, it's just not an alignment for you. Probably not at that time.
Yeah.
Just let it go and it will come to you. But we get so wrapped up, in trying to, prove to whoever, because it isn't ourselves, because we do know our abilities. Yeah. But we get so wrapped up in trying to prove to others like, oh, we can do it. And, I'm just not a part of that hustle bustle crew anymore. Yeah. I'm not, and I'm so thankful that I'm not there, because I didn't see, now I could see myself like how I was before. And it's just like, my husband did everything, to make sure that we were always good, always a smile on my face, the kids, it was just always that. And I'm not saying he didn't live up to his full potential, but I'm sure if it wasn't so much of man-made hustle bustle, we could have made, probably more memories. He probably, we could have scheduled that doctor's appointment. He probably would have felt relaxed, because at this point he's like, well, I can't really relax. We got to get it in. Are we trying to buy this land? Because you thinking of that. And as the man of the house, he's like, didn't you say you want a farm? Because I had just told him I wanted a farm, y'all. I don't like cows and stuff, but I want a farm.
Oh, you want a farm, yes.
So it's like, he's like, well, we gotta get this up, baby. We gotta do this thing. And it's like, when he passed, thank God, we had, money too, but I'm just like, I didn't want to farm this way.
Right. Right.
Like, I didn't want to farm this way.
Right.
Like, come on, So you just even like now, like I still joke with him because my husband was definitely a jokester. He would write posts on Facebook all the time about me and him, and I just laugh at him now. And sometimes I'm like, first of all, come get your kids when they get on my nerves. Come get your kids, sir. Like, I need you to handle them. Like, I am by the time with your children, or things going on, and I just laugh with him. I still talk to him and everything. But like I say, it wasn't until I was strengthening what remains, which is my spiritual journey, my journey with God, and not the God who people hear about in the church from their pastor, the God that I know to read in the Bible. Got to get to know him yourself, because everybody has their own interpretation of a lot of things. And I just feel once you go through this death that hits you very close, everything is shooken up. Yeah. My whole world, like my breath was gone. I couldn't breathe, for like the first 3-4 days. I could not breathe. I was literally like gasping for air, asking my parents, asking my mom, like, how? And to even sit here today to, talk with you all, and not even like right now, I don't feel any tears. I feel happy because of the love. I can't even explain it. And not just the love from my husband, the love from God for keeping me. A lot of people lose their minds. Yeah. I didn't lose my mind. Yeah. So I'm strengthening my mind. I'm learning more. I'm learning to appreciate things more. I look at things totally different. Like, my eyes are open. When people say, "Are you awake?" I am awake. I'm fully awake. Yes.
You have so many really great gems. And before we close with you, I would love for you to maybe share. I love this idea of strengthening what remains. I feel like you have spoke that, and I'm hoping it drops in people's hearts. But anything else where you feel like you've learned, or any words of encouragement you can give to couples, or words of wisdom you can give to couples, or words of encouragement or wisdom you can give to other widowers?
To other widowers, I will start with that first. I will definitely say sit in the grief. You cannot run from it. You cannot hide from it. I don't care how many times somebody will say, "Let's go for a drink. Let's go do this, XYZ." You need to sit in it. That is the only way that you are going to heal. You cannot go to God being fake. You have to go to him being real. Don't go to him saying, "I'm okay." No, you tell him straight up, "I'm not all right. I don't know what you try to do here, but this ain't it. So I'm gonna need you to come up with another plan for me. Drop it on my spirit. Give me a dream, So I will say to my widowers, just sit in the grief. Don't try to move on so fast, and allow God to lead you to where you're supposed to go, in the midst of everything. As far as couples, I would definitely say create as many memories as you can. Strengthen the love. Like, why you are in love, but strengthen it. Help each other just, achieve as many things as you can here on earth that you can, strengthen that, because that is what's going to last. That's what we keep forever. The memories and the love. That's good, what we Nicole. Keep. Yeah. I don't even care that my husband used to leave his pants on the side of the bed anymore. Right. I don't even care. I don't care. It's the love. So I would definitely strengthen the love, because those little things, you can make it into an argument if you wanted to, but it's pointless. It's definitely pointless.
I love it. Yeah. Thank you so much, Nicole, for sharing your beautiful love story, and kind of talking about your husband in such a graceful and loving way. I was fully prepared to cry this entire.
I ain't want to talk to you, Nicole. I ain't gonna hold you. Now that we've talked to you, I was like, "Oh, Liz, you gonna start the day like this?"
I know. I was definitely.
Now, if y'all would have caught me a couple of months ago, right. I would have been like, "Listen, y'all, we got to cut the camera." But I'm to a place now where like I said, I feel the love, and I think once you get to that point where you feel the love, and that love was just so pure, it will bring joy to your heart.
You know what? You really just put in me that I would hope happens whenever I pass on. You the person you want your wife, husband to be happy. You want them to continue on in life. I don't want Melissa to mourn me to the point of it's crippling, right? Be sad. You can be sad. Sit in your grief, but then go get your nails done, get your hair done, you know? And I see the joy is still there. The warmth is still there. I mean, it's the first time I talked to you, but you seem well adjusted, and it's not like he didn't mean nothing to you. Like, you can love somebody and still be happy. Like, he meant a lot to you. And but that shows up in your joy and your spirit. You don't have to only be like, I can't move. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't want that for Melissa. I would want her to be sad, but just be sad a little bit.
For sure, Kev.
You got to give me a little bit.
Definitely. And I'm not always, Chip. I have my days.
Yes, we all do.
Like, but I'm just not feeling it today. Kids, let's order takeout.
School is over today, y'all.
Yeah, it's a wrap. I have my days. And then I get a ping on my phone about a memory.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, did you do that for me? That I smile about the time, that you did something funny, and so therefore that's when I started saying I have to strengthen what remains. That's what keeps me elevated. I love my husband with every bit in me. That was nothing but pure love. 7th grade, like, come on, like, we knew each other forever. This just wasn't my husband, this was my friend,
right.
And it's just sometimes I can't believe it, because it's like, wait a minute, what happened? I blinked my eyes and he was just like gone. But from the pictures in our home, to memories on my phone, to the kids, my in-laws, we still chat all the time. So he isn't gone. He just transferred to a different energy form. And I love it. I love that for him.
Yeah.
I love that for him as being a Black man in this society. Like, my husband, overcame a lot of obstacles. He grew up like, not having everything. And then to be able to leave your kids with stuff. Like, what? Like, that's something he didn't even think of before. So I think of all that, like, he broke that mold.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I'm just like, babe, rest well. Like, I got the torch. You handed it to me. Let's go.
Yeah.
Like, you're still here doing it with me. I don't think of him as gone. I think of him just like a silent partner.
Oh, I love it. I really do. I actually was gonna say, I feel like his love for you and the love you have for one another, it's what's carrying you. It allows you to keep going, because it's sad, obviously. That kind of goes without saying. It was most certainly sad. But the fact that you're standing here today, you're smiling and you're laughing, it's because obviously you're going to have those sad moments. But when you can reflect back on a lifetime with someone and say, man, we had a time.
We were lit, like, I just said we were lit, like, we had fun, I mean, we're young too. I'm going to be 40 this year, so. And he was 39. So it's like, this is our prime. I don't care what the people were saying. I don't know what I was thinking when I told my parents when I was younger. They were old. No, this is it. This the age.
It hit different when you start getting to those ages.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the age right here. We're lit. Okay. So I'm just so thankful though. Like I said, I just keep saying I'm just so thankful. And I will just, like I say, just continue to tell people, just get to know God for yourself, get to know, strengthen that core, and everything else will fall into place. It will all come to you. If it feels, out of whack, that just ain't for you. Just stop for the moment, and I think a lot of people try to go so fast and getting out of grief because they're like, well, I just got to move on. No, you don't. Yeah. That was society telling you that. That's what man told you to do. You need to sit in those feelings and feel it for a minute, and that's how you will know how to process it to move forward.
Yeah,
love it. Thank you so much, Nicole. For the people that are interested in either following you on Instagram or supporting your business, can you please let them know where to find you on Instagram?
Yes, so on Instagram, my handle is at I am Nicole Benz, and that's BENZ. And my business page is Silhouette Shapewear and Wellness, and I'm actually on Instagram, TikTok. I'm on it all, so you can find me there. Thank you guys.
Thank you so much, Nicole. You were a joy to speak with, and thank you for sharing your story with us and the people.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys again.
All right.
Okay. Okay. Bye.